Hello, in today's video, we look at how to multiply and divide numbers in standard form. Normally, if I have a number a times 10 to the n, and I'm multiplying it by another number b times 10 to the m, what I would simply do is to multiply the decimal parts together and then multiply by the product of the index parts. From there, I obtain ab times 10 to the n plus m, and then I simplify and put the answer in the correct decimal form. Now we can take an example. If I have 2.4 times 10 to the 6th multiplied by 0.017 times 10 to the 17, I will have 2.4 multiplied by 0.017, the decimal parts multiplied together, times 10 to the 6th times 10 to the 17. So I multiply the indices together. From there, I have 0.0408, the result of the decimal parts multiplied, times 10 to the 6 plus 17. Since the bases are the same, I will add the parts. And from there, I get 0.0408 times 10 to the 23rd. Now, this result is not yet in standard form. It is not in standard form because this decimal part is supposed to lie between 1 and 10. So for it to lie between 1 and 10, I will shift the decimal point to the right so that it lies between the first non-zero digit and the next digit to the right of it. The first non-zero digit being 4, it means that my decimal point has to be between 4 and 0. And I would have to shift 1, 2 places. Note that shifting to the left is compensated by adding the same number of decimal places you have shifted to the power of 10. So normally the shifting rules, they were done in a video, the previous video I did on standard form. So if you have not watched the video, you can scroll on my profile. You would see the video and watch it in order to master the rules well. The general rule simply is that if I'm shifting 2 places to the left, I will add 2 to the power of 10 as compensation. If I'm shifting 2 places to the right, I will subtract 2 from the power of 10 as a means of compensating for that shifting, so that generally your number does not change value. So this time we are shifting to the right, so I will now write 4.08 times 10 to the power 23. I shifted 2 places to the right, so I will compensate by subtracting 2 from the power of 10. And finally, my result is 4.08 times 10 to the 21. And that is the final answer in standard form. And now for the case of dividing numbers in standard form, if I have again a times 10 to the n divided by b times 10 to the m, I simply divide the decimal parts and multiply by the division of the index parts. And from there, I can now simplify to have a over b times 10 to the n minus m, and then put the result in standard form. So if I take an example, 245 times 10 to the negative 12 divided by 4 times 10 to the negative 3, I would get 245 all over 4 times 10 to the negative 12 all over 10 to the negative 3. And 245 divided by 4 gives 61.25 times 10 to the negative 12 minus negative 3. In the end, I have 61.25 times 10 to the negative 9. Negative 12 minus negative 3 should give negative 9. And my next step would now be to shift the decimal point so that it lies between the first non-zero digit and the next digit, so that it should lie between 1 and 10 as the general rule for putting numbers in standard form specifies. So I should have 6.125 times 10 to the negative 9 plus 1. I have shifted 1 place to the left, so I have to add 1 to the power of 10 to compensate for that motion. So finally I get 6.125 times 10 to the negative 8 as the final result. To end, I give you these exercises. 125 times 10 to the negative 6 divided by 3 times 10 to the negative 10. That's the first one. The second one, 0.125 times 10 to the 6th times 2.5 times 10 to the negative 7.